Welcome everyone to this Jimmy Reed song. I was in the mood to learn some blues, so here we are. Not very difficult, just some great licks to add to your blues arsenal. The intro is really done well, a lot of feeling, you know, don't overplay this. And I've written it out, so my notes will be below the video. Just click on that and download them for yourself. And we'll go through the song. So this song's in the key of A. Alright, so our main blues chords will be the 1, A, 4 in the A scale, which will be D, and then E for the 5. 1, 4, 5. Notice how they fall when you're playing on the 6th string A. D is right below it for the 4, and right next to it is your 5, E, with the 5th root. Alright, so just a little hint, kind of like talking up the walk-up. You always skip the next chord, so we're in A, so we'd skip A sharp, and we'd be to the 4th chord. Okay? So that's a great little tip for you there. Alright, so let's start out with the intro. So to start the song out with, we're going to be referencing G7, A7, and A here. We're going to kind of start out on a partial G7th. We'll be on the 6th fret of the 2nd string, 7th fret of the 3rd string. We're going to slide that up a full step and then strike the 1st string at 9. Then we're going to come back and strike 7 on the 3rd to 7 on the 1st, and that's hybrid picking. So you want to use your pick on the 3rd string, and I use my middle finger to pluck the 1st string. Okay, so we have this. Now we're going to take those 7s on the 3rd and 1st string, strike them together and slide up to 9, and then hit 9 again on the 1st string. Okay, those little extra notes just add flavor to this and really make it memorable. Okay, so we have this. Then we're going to play that A7 down a step to G7, and we're going to come back up on that 1st string at 7. Okay, so again, another little nuance. And then just playing A, 6 and 5 on the 2nd and 1st string. So all together, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what we're going to do is slide on those 2nd and 3rd string back up to 9 and 8. Okay, now we're going to play the full A7th. So add your ring finger down on the 1st string, down a step. At this point, we're going to bar across the 3rd through the 1st string and hammer into the 6th fret on the 3rd string from 5. Alright, so we'll have this. Very, very typical blues move. Then we're going to catch the 4th string at 7 and then go up 5, 6, 7 on the 5th string. Another great blues move, we're going to go 5, hammer onto 6 on that 4th string, and then hit 7 on the 5th, back to 5, 6, 7. So we have this. Let me take it from the A7th back to G7th. Alright, that gets you into what I consider the Jimmy Reed rhythm. You'll hear one guitar just in that first section doing the 7 across the 2nd and 3rd string, and then 5 with the hammer onto 6 while he's doing. You'll hear that in there. But let's focus on what Jimmy Reed is playing so you can get that rhythm down. But according to the information I found in this recording, it was Jimmy Reed Jr. playing the other guitar. Regardless, let's work on the Jimmy Reed rhythm that you want to do. Now this is a real good shuffle, so we're going to be kind of up and down. And what we want to do, we're going to focus on our A, D, E, back to D and A, okay? So with those blues chords said, what we're going to do is stretch our pinky up to from 7 to 9 and up to 10. So you got to get that going, got to stretch that finger. And we're going to hit 5 and 7 twice to 9, back to 7 and 5. Okay, so 9 and 5. Okay, the next time we'll hit 10 and back to 7. Then 9, back to 7. And that 7 is twice. It's kind of the up and down because we're moving to the next measure, which is the same here. We're staying on A. So let me show you that so far, real slow. 1, 2, 3. Take that same thing, move it down to a D on the 5th string chord. Then we come back to A before we go into the turnaround. So we'll talk about the turnaround. Again, this is just what I feel Jimmy Reed is playing. There's another guitar underneath which will really come in the second verse and add a lot of flavor to this song. But the turnaround, we'll talk about that next. So let me show you the turnaround at speed and we'll talk about what he's doing. So what we're doing here, it's different because the other guitar is playing more of a, I don't know, Fats Domino, old jazzy style. I'll show you that in a second, but Jimmy Reed underneath that isn't doing from 7 and 9 to 11 and 12. He's just sticking on 11 twice the first time and then one time. So we have this 2 with the 11 twice, once, twice, sorry, and then once with the 11, back to 9, and then we'll do that same thing at the 5th fret and 7th fret, or D. And then our A is just going to be 2 of each. So 2 of the 5-7, 2 of the 5-9, 2 of the 5-7, 2 of the 5-9. And then we end 5 to 5, 6, 7. I played chords. You can do that, but I don't think Jimmy Reed is doing the chords because he's letting the other guitar play the chords. But let me go through that one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so that is a Jimmy Reed rhythm. The only time he really deviates from that is he goes into a harmonica solo and the second guitar is just doing the rhythm, which is really close to the second guitar rhythm that we'll talk about here. One little nuance, and I'll show you what that is if you want to play this exactly. If you're like me in a blues band, you learn the basics and make it your own. So we'll go over the second guitar next. So The second guitar, other time in the intro, the only time you really hear him is when Jimmy Reed's in that very first verse. You'll hear him come in with that 7 to 5 and hammer into 6. And then, I mean, he's just kind of following the rhythm of them until the turnaround. So in the turnaround, when Jimmy Reed is doing, the other guitar is doing this. And again, this is why the rhythm changes for Jimmy Reed not going to the 11 and 12 on that 4th string, is this. Wonderful blues move here. So we're doing this E chord, and then we're going to go up to the 10th fret and 11th fret of the 5th string. So we'll hit the E chord twice, and then 10, 11. Then we're going to hit the 9th fret of the 4th and 3rd string twice, and come down with our 11th string, or I'm sorry, 11th fret on that 4th string with the 9th still held there. Okay, so we have this so far. Then we're going to do that same move at the 7th and 5th fret on a D. Then we're going to come into a hammer-on that 3rd and 2nd string. We'll be hammering on the 3rd string from 5, barring across 5 on the 2nd string also. And then we come down this way. Alright, so we're doing a very Robert Johnson typical blues walk down. Sorry, phone ring, stupid telemarketers. Alright, so we're going from 9 back to 8, 7, and 5, if you will. So think of those 7th chords. A, G sharp, G, back to A. So we're going to start out at the 9th fret on that 3rd and 1st string. So we'll go 3rd string, 1st string, 3rd string. Move it down a half step to 8. Another half step to 7. Now we're going to just take the 2nd and 3rd string, bar at 5, hammer on the 3rd string at 6. Again, we'll catch the 4th string at 7. Really cool lick here, okay? Then we're going to go 5, 6, 7. This is something I do a lot in blues. Come in from 5, 6, 7 to the 7th chord, the 5 chord, if you will, so an E7, the 7th of the 5 chord. Okay, so, all right, in this song, he does it a little bit different, okay? He's going to come in, and then he's going to use that 5, 6 hammer on 4, lead it up to the 5th string at 7. And then the chord. Alright, so let's take it from 9. Alright? Okay, so we're hammering in 5 to 6 on the 4th string, catching 7, and then coming into an E7. So that gives you the 5 chord. That's why in the turnaround, Jimmy Reed's just playing, because the other guitar is doing the actual chord. I hope that all makes sense to you. Again, I've written both of these out. Great, great licks to work. I've added that to my repertoire. Alright, so now we're into verse 2. We'll talk about what the second guitar is doing, because Jimmy Reed's playing that same. He's doing that, and we'll talk about what the second guitar is doing next. Hey, there's Archie. Hey, boo-boo! So guitar 2, the second verse. We'll talk about that next. He'll be doing this. Alright, so basically what we're doing, 5th fret, 3rd and 2nd string, hammering into 6. Then we'll catch 7 and do the same thing from 5 to 6. Then we catch 7 on the 4th string and our walk up 5, 6, 7. And same thing. So 2 measures of that, or 4 full times. Alright. Next we're going to move that up to the D. Alright. Alright. So we're going to go up to 11. Alright, or 10, I'm sorry, and hammer into 11. Same thing. We'll only do that twice. So we're at the 2nd and 3rd string, we're hammering in to 11, hitting 12, back to 10 with the hammer on to 11, then catching 12 on the 4th string, and then 10, 11, 12 on the 5th string. One more time. Then we're back to 5 and 6. Now, what do you think for the turnaround? Going to E, right? Alright, so E is going to change things, and we'll talk about that next. Alright, so that turnaround, I'm going to come out of the 5, the A, into the turnaround. Alright, so let's take it to that point. What we're doing is coming up to 12, we're going to hammer on the 3rd and 2nd string, hammer into 13. Now we want to do that walk that they do, and we're going to catch the E or the 4th string at the 9th fret, and then 10, 11 on the 5th string. Okay, and then what we do is 9 twice to 11 and 9 on the 4th string. So we have this. Then we're going to do the same thing with the D. We're going to hammer in from the 10th fret to 11. Alright, and then we're going to come to the A note, if you will, on the 4th string at 7. And then 8, 9 on the 5th string. 7 twice to 8. 7 twice to 9, back to 7. Alright, so we have this. Let's take it from that E. Again, this is the second guitar, so he's adding this flavor to it. This will change a little bit during the harmonica solo, and I'm going to talk about that. It's not a big difference, but it is a little bit different. So at this point, we'll hit on the 5th string, we're referencing an A, on the 5th fret I should say, 3rd and 2nd string are hammer into the 3rd string. And then we go into the walkdown. Alright, so let me take you through that full off from the E. See how all that fits together. Now, during the harmonica solo, there's one little difference when he does this, and we'll talk about that because it's sticking more to the walk-up type of a rhythm. So we'll talk about that next. So during the harmonica solo, again, which I've written out, and this is really the only difference in the second guitar once it's in, when we come up to the E. So let me show you what they're doing. We'll start up from the beginning. So what we're doing, we're sticking with that A rhythm, if you will. We'll do that 4 times or 2 measures. Then we're going to come up to the D. We'll do that for 1 measure or 2 times. Then we come back to the A for 1 measure or 2 times. Now when we come to that E, this is where we change it a little bit. We're going to go pretty much similar to what we've done so far, with hammering in from 12 to 13, then catching 14 on that 3rd and 2nd string, and then 12 to 13, and then 14 on the 4th string, and then all we do is 12 to 14 on the 5th string. All right. Then we're going to do the D just like we have been. And then we'll just come into the A and then the walk down or turnaround. Alright, so that is the difference. So when we get to that 12, it'll be 14 and then 12-14 from the 4th to 5th string. D is the same. And then just referencing A as we come into the turnaround. The rest of the song is like we talked about, 2nd rhythm. Jimmy Reed continues his rhythm throughout. I really hope that helps everybody. A great blues song, some great licks to put in your bag, and I hope you enjoy.